Hey, welcome to the Summit Host Hangout Podcast, where you'll learn how to host a high-converting virtual summit that leads to your biggest signature offer launch yet. I'm your host, Krista from Summit in a Box, and it is somehow episode 300, which is wild to me. 300 feels big. I never would have guessed that we would have made it that far. I never would have thought I had that much to say about virtual summits, but we're here. And I knew when I saw episode 300 approaching that I wanted to do something a little fun, and I had no ideas, so I asked my team for ideas. And one of them had the great idea that it could be fun to swap roles and let them grill me with some questions for once. So each of them kind of chose a general topic, everything from homeschooling and being a mom to virtual summit trends to the growth of Summit in a Box and all kinds of good stuff. So I'm going to hush up and turn it over to them, and I hope you enjoy.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to start with some rapid fire questions just to kind of get you warmed up. So go with your gut.
Who are you?
I am Kate.
There we go.
And we are just going to go with rapid fire questions. Go with whatever first comes to mind. So, mountains or beach?
Beach.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
White or dark chocolate?
Light. Or did you say white? I don't care. Either one of those.
Okay.
White. Yeah.
Early mornings or night owl?
Early.
Comedy or drama?
Comedy.
Cats or dogs?
In what context? Dogs. But I have 2 cats. Okay, sorry.
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Phone call or text?
Text, yeah. Don't call me.
Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
A dance party or karaoke?
No. Can I do that? Dance party if it's only kids. Otherwise, no.
DIY or just buy it?
Oh, buy it.
Podcast or music while working?
No. Maybe music. Gentle. Quiet.
Finally, buy it online or in a store?
Online, I'll never go anywhere.
Perfect.
I wish everyone was unmuted because everyone was giggling. It was cute.
That was funny. That was fun.
Did I surprise you at all?
Yeah, I was surprised by like the cats and dogs, knowing that you have cats. And so I was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, cats are terrible.
Not surprised by like text me, don't call me. That was not a surprise. All right, it's Ellie's turn. I'm going to give it to Ellie.
Awesome. All right. I'm glad I was muted because I was like really laughing during all of that. On kind of a similar note, I want to ask about kind of helping our listeners get to know more about like who you are as a human outside of your role as a business owner. And so we've done kind of some of that here, but like, what are some of your favorite things to do just like purely for fun? That's not business related, not productive, like at home, but just like purely because you enjoy them.
Yeah, that's tough. I like to be productive, but I have been trying to be not productive at least one day a week. Reading is something I love to do. It's hard to do with little kids in the house, but my go-to is either like romantic fantasy or cozy fantasy. I like the cozy. I just discovered that because it's all happy and I don't have to get sad or anxious while I'm reading, and I'm very sensitive. So that's like my sweet spot, and I'm very excited to dive in more to that.
That sounds perfect.
Or also reading about homeschooling, but I don't know if that counts because it's kind of productive. But anyways, I also love to crochet, and I can't do like blankets because those are too big and boring, but I crochet like pretty much any creature or animal or fun thing you can imagine. And I only do that in the winter though, because it gets like 50 degrees and I'm like, nope, what is this garbage? Get it away from me. And I've recently picked up watercolor, and not like pretty flowers and stuff like that. Like we have an accelerator client who will like just whip up this beautiful drawing of a pepper. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cute and adorable. I can't do that. But I found this watercolor for relaxation course. We should link it. It's from Willow Wanders. So wonderful. I can just like turn my brain off and make pretty things. So
That's awesome. I love that. And I know that that's like something that you've been kind of intentionally doing, like intentionally trying to seek out like things to do just for fun, like to not always be in productive mode. So I'm curious, like what has that like looked like for you, like making that shift to kind of intentionally taking some disconnected time for yourself and like intentionally taking like longer periods off from the business? Like what helped you to like start doing that more and make that shift from feeling like you needed to be on all the time?
None of those things happen very often, but maybe like once or twice, let's say 2 to 3 times a week, one of those things will happen. Yeah, that's a good question. It's been tiny steps over lots of years. I feel like I was like addicted to work is strong, but like working made me feel safe. So I just always worked, and I love the dopamine hit you get when you check off a task. I love starting a task. I love doing them. I love finishing them. So like I would work 24/7 if I could. But I started to see like, oh wow, I just took a week and a half off for holiday break. Oh my gosh, I feel like a new person. You know, I started to notice that and be like, okay, it's actually a problem that I never stopped working. That was maybe 2-3 years ago. And I feel like over the past 3 months, maybe 6, I've made much bigger progress. And I think it came in those baby steps. First, just noticing it accidentally, and then being like, oh, wow, I didn't work on Sunday. It was actually really nice. Imagine that. Oh my gosh. And then just like expanding that to longer periods of time, you know, like weekends and things like that. And now I've been able to see that it doesn't serve me or any of you or anyone well for me to just always be sitting here working on things. It was actually funny to me recently. Kate took a vacation and then I took a vacation. I think it was like 1 week, one after another. Kate took a break and I'm like, my world is ending. This is the worst. Everything's on fire. I take a break and everyone else gets a break too. So I thought that was interesting. Like you guys probably all throw a party when I'm not here. But it's also been a matter of like coming to trust that the business is strong enough to survive me taking a step back, and like growing stronger in my faith also, and being like, God didn't lead me to create this business to pull it away if I take a break. Like that doesn't make any sense at all. So there's been like some trust growing in that as well. So it can still be hard to step away initially, especially if we're in the middle of a project, but like I never regret doing it. I always come back better and refreshed and everything like that.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And I know it's like such a hard shift to make. So I think it's been really cool to see that like over the last few years. I know you've said that you've realized that like the business isn't going to fall apart. Like it is okay, you know, to take that time away. But is there anything like positive that you've seen, like positive business results or things that have worked out even better because you were able to take time off?
The first thing that comes to mind is just like the emotional and like true nervous system reset for me every time. Like I never noticed how heightened I am or that tightness. Like I'm like, I love what I do. This is fun. This is great. But then I take a break and actually reset and go back down to whatever baseline. And I was like, oh, wow, I need this to happen more often. And like when I get to do that, I'm a better mom. I'm a better wife. When my brain isn't like working on something behind the scenes while these cute little faces are trying to tell me about this tower they just built for the 5,000th time, you know, like I am just a much better human when I take that time away and get that time to reset. But I also think it's forced us to do good things in the business as well. Like I have all of you because of it. Like especially when I dropped down to working part-time for homeschooling, we added some team members. I stepped back. Lots of you stepped up. So we have a stronger team and much better systems because of it as well. So it's not as big of a deal when any one person minus Kate steps away for whatever reason. And I think I have better ideas as well. Like it's not like I never sit here in this spot and have a great idea. It's always when I'm somewhere else. So, you know, that's always something good that comes from not being constantly on.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. That's awesome. All right. Well, that's all that I've got. So I'm going to pass it to Mel next.
Awesome. So Ellie kind of kicked things off really well with Krista, the being, and the business owner. And I want to shift it a little bit. You started to over to Krista as mom, because these are all 3 different identities. And you have recently taken on the beautiful and often challenging task of homeschooling. And you're doing this momming, homeschooling, and running an incredibly successful business. And inquiring minds want to know, how do you juggle it all?
Oh, that's how. I shouldn't say that. It's not that bad. Right now, we started this call right in that transition. My transition was coming to this call. So I got on and I was like, y'all, the 4-year-old beat me today. And you know, like we have days like that. There are some days where it's oof. It was definitely a struggle to start. It's almost been a year now. It'll be a year on. Well, no, I think we started kind of off and on in June. So we're about at a year. But doing it all is not easy. I'm not going to say pretend that it is. We get into a good rhythm. I'm a very rhythm-based person. So when we figure it out, things are good. But it is difficult, especially because like I'm never short on ideas for anything. I'm never short on ideas for things I want to do around the house, things for business, new homeschool subjects and curriculums I want to try. Like I've always got ideas for everything. And that can be difficult to manage at times. But I try to be really conscious of catching myself trying to find things to keep my girls busy so that I can work. I really try not to do that. Like, oh my gosh, they're outside. I'm going to go grab my computer. I did do it today, but I try not to because I want them to be separate. And like, if I had to pick one, it would be homeschooling. But it's so much easier for my brain to obsess over the work side. I think because, I don't know, money and it's going to fall apart if I don't work and all of that stuff. But that is something that helps me juggle it, really try to keep it separate. And I try to hold this truth in my mind that work and all of these other life commitments are in the way of them. They are not in the way of these other things, but it's still hard. Like I have to remind myself of that all the time. And there are days where I just totally blow it. The biggest way I do it is that I have a lot of help, lots of help. You guys are here as the business help, but I also have a lot of help at home. Like I do not clean my house. I do not do laundry. I do not do dishes. My mom and husband are flipping rock stars. My mom comes 2 days a week to clean and take care of the kids. Well, sometimes we bring in another babysitter so that my mom can actually clean. My responsibilities around the house are basically homeschooling, planning, organizing, making appointments and things like that, and like keeping the house picked up. But I don't do other things, So that is a very, very big part of it. I wouldn't be able to do it in a healthy way at all if I was having to do all those things. And sometimes I do pull out my laptop at night or on weekends when it's crunch time for a project or I'm like just excited about something. And I very often feel like I don't have enough time. Don't have enough time to homeschool. Don't have enough time to work. But I shouldn't say really good at, I've gotten much better at letting tasks sit and letting things be overdue, which I was never okay with before. Like back in the day, back a year or two ago, if there was an overdue task on my calendar, I was stressed about that task and I was working overtime to make it happen. Now I'm like, well, that's too bad. I hope nothing burns because of this. And that's the same thing with homeschool. I think we checked off one thing in my homeschool planner this morning, but it's a beautiful day out. It's like 70 degrees, sunny. My girls wanted to be outside and I'm like, peace, let's go outside. So I'm just trying to be a little bit better at not letting the structure I'm good at creating derail us and make it all stressful so I can enjoy every step and see the progress we're making. So that was a very long answer, but that's what I got.
Oh my gosh. And I love that answer. Like so many things I'm like, and I want to ask this question or relate to that because I've definitely been that homeschool mom trying to run a business as well. And I have so much respect for the fact that you do pull in help to get the household chores done. Like it's really darn near impossible not to do that. So having those expectations be a reality and just hearing you say how you do it is really, really important. And as somebody who has been that homeschool mom, I think there's so much learning that is not within the structure that you've created for homeschool and for your business that your girls are picking up on. And I was just curious if your girls ever like help with that work, or have you seen yet, I know they're a bit younger than my child, but have you seen them model your working behaviors and turn those into lessons that they can use with their own lives?
I don't know if I've seen too much of that yet. I try not to work around them very often. And that's not me being, oh, I'm just so perfect. It's like I turn into a psycho if I am focused on something and they're like, Mom, I want a snack. I'm like, dudes. So I just have to not. Okay, let's just be real. So I don't work around them very often, but like they do pick up on it. Like every once in a while, one of them will play that they're working, which I think is kind of cute. And I think that's good. Like they see working right now as a good thing. My oldest has said probably for 2 years, anytime someone asks what she wants to do when she grows up, she says she wants to work with mommy, which, oh man, I can be a bucket of tears anytime about that. But I feel like they think of it like my family thinks of it like, what's mom doing downstairs? She just chilling? Like they do not understand the fact that most people work outside the house. So I think that's going to be really interesting to see how that progresses as they get older, because my husband works from home as well. He's employed like by a company, but his office is right behind mine. Mommy and daddy go downstairs to work. Why doesn't everyone do that? So I haven't seen them necessarily model any like any of my like discipline or working habits or anything like that, but they do have a positive association when they think of work, and I'm going to take it as a good thing that the oldest wants to work with me.
That's adorable. And there's so many lessons in that. Like, I bet you they are picking up a lot more than you recognize, for sure. And I was thinking when I came up with that question of some stories I've seen you post where they're helping you send out some packages to some of your clients. That was adorable. Like, that's helping with work at their age level.
Talia loves it. She's 7 now. She loves it when I get to pull her in like that. Like, there have been a few times, like a couple of our launches where I'll have her welcome the new members. Like the first time she was 2, like telling everyone welcome. I still have these videos and I posted them kind of recently, just in her little voice saying everyone's name wrong. And she still loves to do it. Now it's not as cute because she can pronounce everyone's name, but she's still little and has a squeaky voice and she is into it. And then, we had her help ship some workbooks and she went all out. She is my creative one. So we are not just putting these workbooks in envelopes and shipping them. Oh, no. Mom, I need stickers. Mom, I need markers. And every single one was decorated and adorable. And she wrote thank you on the back. And it was pretty cute. So I'm excited to employ her officially in the future.
Yeah, that is so cute. That's so much of a great creative outlet for her. And perfect. Yeah. So it's so much fun to hear about all of that as a mom who's been a homeschooler and a business owner. So I would imagine that you have lots and lots of other moms out there, some homeschooling, some not. And I wonder if you could just share some of the perks of running your own business while momming and homeschooling. And also in there, what would you say to other business moms who are considering a similar path?
Okay. I'll start with like what I say the perks are. I mean, I just really love that I get to be fully in charge of my priorities at any given time. I can drop anything in an instant and be fully supported, whether it's dropping something with them and pulling in my mom or sister-in-law or friends or whatever to help with them while I focus on the business. Usually it's the other way around. We are one of them sick or there's something going on at school or there's something fun that came up that we want to go to, like, oh, we want to go to the beach, like, peace out. Like, it's so great to be able to do that. And it's just not a problem. Like, my husband's boss is wonderful, but it's more of a discussion, right? Like, oh, I don't know. There's more like pressure around that, even if it's just pressure he's putting on himself. And I don't have that. Like, well, I guess if I have to work on Saturday, it's my own fault because I planned it all anyways, So I just really love that. I love being able to, we have the general structure, but I love that I can break the structure and it's just not an issue. Let's see. I guess something that comes up there is thinking through that last question you asked. And I just like that I get to let them see what it's like to love the work you do. I didn't have that growing up. Like, my parents did not love, I don't know many people, I guess, that love the work they do. And I just hope that sticks with them and carries through and they have high standards, but can also find, the perfect fit for them. So I think that's a big benefit. I also just love the extra time with them and being able to learn alongside them. Like, y'all, I was not good at science, social study. I got good grades, but I don't remember anything of it. Don't ask me anything about geography, history, the different war. Like, I got nothing. But like, it's all new to me now and I get to learn alongside them and it's so much fun. And I also love that I've just had this opportunity to get to know them and how they work best so much more than I did before. I just never realized how much you have to learn about like their learning style and what motivates them differently than you do in any other given day. Like, Jeremy had to pick up in homeschool for me. I don't remember when it was or why, but like within 10 minutes, he's like, she's on the floor sobbing and screaming. What do I do? And I knew exactly what to do. Within 15 minutes, she's back doing her work because I'd like typed up this big, long novel of what to do, which is ridiculous. Like, how did I know these things? But it's really cool. So like, I think, all of it just works together really beautifully. Not that it's hard, but I would say if you're feeling called to this, it's for a reason and you can figure it out. Like, if you're running a business, if you have kids, I have no doubt in my mind that you have the skills you need to figure out problems. And that's what it is. It's figuring out a solution to something and figuring out what works for you. It's not going to be perfect right away, but over time you'll find what is as perfect as it can be. So I would say go for it.
I love that. So many lessons in that. And it just made me chuckle when you talked about Jeremy doing the homeschool versus you, because the same thing happened in our family. I was like, oh yeah, I'll pick the curriculum. This will be great. My background's in education. And so I sent it to my partner, and just an absolute mess every single time. And then I'd have to come and cool it all down. So
yeah, you get to go in and save the day.
Yeah. So thanks so much for answering those questions. That was really, really fun and insightful. And I'm going to pass it off to Kate.
Okay. I'm going to shift gears and we're going to go backwards. We're going to go back to the beginning. So
Okay.
when back at the beginning, did you realize that like the idea of Summit in a Box was like, this was going to work?
Do I still know?
Maybe.
On one hand, never. Still waiting. On the other hand, I would say the moment I was like, okay, this is good. This is going to be something I can quit doing what I was doing before. It was when we did our first launch of the actual Summit in a Box course in 2020. We had run it as a membership before. We were bringing in like maybe $2,500, $3,000 a month through the membership, which was wonderful to me. But as far as a course launch goes, I'm pretty sure my biggest launch ever at the time, I had done a Black Friday bundle with a friend, and we brought in like $10,000. I think my payout was like $2,000. Anyways, I did not have much luck selling courses outside of that. I think maybe like 5 course sales was my biggest other than that bundle. We launched Summit in a Box and made $60,000. And I was like, what? That's more than most people around here at least make in a year. What just happened? And that, I think, is kind of when I was like, okay, I guess this is something. And like the momentum didn't stop immediately after that. So that gave me some hope. Jen and I, right? That's when we hosted the summit in December, brought in $63,000 to Summit in a Box again. It's like, okay, I guess this is a thing. So I would say that was like when I had the biggest level up as far as, okay, this is working. But there's still, you never can be comfortable in business, right? Like if you stop looking forward, if you stop moving, it's going to stop working. So I never feel safe. I mean, maybe that's not quite the right wording, but there's always effort involved.
That makes sense. What do you miss about those early days of starting it? Is there anything you miss?
No, I don't think there is. It was an easier sell then. Our products were, when we launched Summit in a Box, that was 2020. People wanted to know how to host a virtual summit in 2020. And I feel like the sales just really flowed. Like anything we did is like, boom, 40K, 60K, 80K. And now you have to work for that, It was when I first heard that question, it was tempting for me to say it was easier and it was simpler and I missed that, but that's not true. I have grown as a CEO and the business has evolved and those things have happened together. So while the business was simpler then and is more complicated now, I have all of you helping me. I have much more evolved systems and automations and things like that. So while it was simpler then, I don't think I could say that it was easier. So like there's I feel like that's the biggest thing that there could be to miss about what it was like. And I don't have that. I love having reasons to employ all of you and have an awesome team. I love the people we get to work with and things like that. So yeah, I don't think there's much I miss.
That's pretty cool, actually. That is a good thing. Because I was thinking about that. Slack actually popped up today when I opened it up, and it's like, oh, your 5-year anniversary, and I was like, oh, that was cool, and then it was like, oh wow, like 5 years ago, like you were just starting Summit in a Box, and so then I was thinking about like the early days, and I was like, we have come such a long way. Like it is kind of crazy. And so thinking about like the simplicity back then, like it's not that it's harder now, it's just different. But like it's so cool how far everything has changed. But
it is interesting to think of that. Like back then we couldn't have run this business. We did not know what we would have needed to know to make it happen. So that's something I try to think about a lot when I'm feeling pressure. Like I don't usually feel pressure to like level up. It's usually like at masterminds and things where everyone else is like, I'm going to make whatever $1 million this year. And I kind of start like feeling that pressure. I don't feel that. I'm happy with where we're at. But that's what I have to remind myself of. Like, I'm not at, example, $3 million because I'm not ready for that. Like, we need to be where we're at right now to be ready for each stage. So it's really cool to think back on that. And like, I was working my booty off, doing the best I could. And that's where I was supposed to be. And that's how we got here.
Very true. Very true. So kind of a fun question, a little hypothetical. If you weren't doing this, and if Summit in a Box kind of like hadn't taken off, what do you think you'd be doing?
Does it have to be a real job or could it be online? I can answer both.
Go with both.
If it was a real job, I would probably still be in software engineering in some capacity. I don't know what, because I ran away from that field because it was just toxic and gross, but I'm also more of an adult now, and I can tell the men, I think, to take a seat these days. I think I'm old enough and mature enough and have enough kids to have the guts to do that. And it's good money. So I would probably still be doing software engineering, or if this were to go under, that's what I would go back to. I think if it was online, though, I would be like an OBM or an integrator or something like that. I think I would, that side of me is much stronger than the visionary side. And it would just be, I think, so fun to just like organize and run someone else's business and not be responsible for the money and the ideas. Yeah, Mel, not be responsible for the big things. So that could still happen anyways. Just kidding, guys. We're staying here.
That's awesome. Well, that's all I had. I'm going to give it over to Jen.
Okay, so I'm going to shift it a little bit more because I am total business nerd and I want to talk shop. So what has been the biggest change you've seen in virtual summits over the past 5 years? Because like we hosted the first Sell with a Summit back in, like you said, September of 2020. And a lot has changed since then. So I want to hear your insights on that.
It's cool to me thinking back and seeing how much we have changed in the industry of summits. So many things have changed because we're here teaching what we teach and people are like, whoa, yeah, that's better. Let's do it that way. And then it just becomes industry standard. So like everyone, pat yourself on the back. We do good things. I would say though, like the biggest change that comes to mind for me is the kind of people who run summits. Because like when I started, it wasn't just any business owner with 150 people on their email list running summits. It was the people with hundreds of thousands, the Amy Porterfield level people were the only ones running them. And now, I think we can take some credit. It is very accessible for anyone, whether they're brand new or not, to do this and see good results and do beautiful things. So I think that's the biggest shift that comes to mind for me. Like, of course, there's strategy tweaks and things like that, but yeah, that one's my favorite.
There's definitely been a lot of change, and I love seeing people who have no list go and host summits because that's always super interesting. They usually have different things that they try than we do. So I know that you have all the ideas all the time, and it's like in the best way because I love it when you come to us and you're like, ooh, I have this thing. How can we make it happen? So I'm curious how you decide which ideas to move forward with and how that decision-making process, I guess, has kind of changed from when you were a solopreneur to when you brought on Kate, and now you have all of us on the team and everything.
Ooh, fun. Yeah, okay, there's no shortage of ideas. If I ever don't have an idea, I'm spiraling about why I don't have an idea. Luckily, that doesn't happen very often. But it has changed since I've had a team in both ways. Having you all helps me both slow down and speed up somehow. But I think it's like, y'all, I have this idea. I've thought about it for literally 1 second. What do you think? Do we go for this? Can you talk me down? Usually no one talks me down. Ellie is usually the one that talks me down for really good reasons. Like she is like, hold up. There's something. This is great, Krista. Pat on the head. But like, here's what you're not seeing. And then I'm like, oh yeah. So there's that. I've been able to get slowed down with my ideas, but also speed up, because when I have an idea and everyone gives a thumbs up, we go real fast most of the time. So that has been a big change as well. As for how I decide which ideas to move forward with, it's really a gut feeling. I wish I could say I'm over here crunching the numbers and seeing what's possible and I'm so strategic. But I have learned over and over that when I have that gut feeling, full body, heck yes, I'm just going to do it. I'm supposed to do it. And usually it goes really well. On the flip side, when I have that, like, I feel like I should do this thing, it doesn't feel great. It never goes well. Like bad things happen. So I do really rely on gut feelings more than logic sometimes. And then also trying to be realistic about what we can handle. Although I am sometimes and often very, very bad at that. Exhibit A, right now, present moment. We are actively creating content for a brand new course. The course has been launched. The content has not been created. It has to be delivered in 3 weeks. We're promoting a challenge that's happening in a week and a half. And we just finished confirming speakers for a summit that's happening in 2 months while trying to optimize our funnels, take care of clients, and keep the ship running. Like, what the heck? Whose idea was this? It was mine. I should be fired, but you're stuck with me. So anyways, I do have lots of ideas. It's great to have a team to help with them, basically.
Yeah. And I'm sure that's going to be super helpful for somebody listening, because someone's probably going, well, I shouldn't follow my gut. And it's okay to do that sometimes, but also maybe go check with a business friend and say, hey, should I do this?
Yeah. I wonder if it's also with like, oh, shoot, what's the manifesting generator thing called? Who knows? Ellie knows. You got to know. Generator, manifester, manifesting generator. People are listening to this and screaming at us for not knowing what this is. Whatever. I also wonder if that has to do with it. I'm a manifesting generator, which I think means I can have lots of ideas and do all the ideas. So maybe like that gut feeling thing wouldn't work for other people, but it definitely.
I have to wait as a projector until I've calmed down to reevaluate it. So
I can't. I would explode. So yeah, see right here. This is interesting.
I feel like I'm going to. Okay, so my last question is, how do you synthesize, I guess, like all of the trends and experiments that you see in like the accelerator clients summits? Because our accelerator clients like to tweak things and we get to help them try new things. And also the trends and experiments you see other people doing in the summits you are a speaker or a sponsor at. And how do you use all of that to kind of adjust the strategies that you teach all the summit hosts?
I love that. I think I am lucky, blessed in that it comes to me very naturally. Like, I'm a very logical thinker. So I'm always like putting the pieces together. Like, oh, this person is doing this thing. I am genuinely curious about how that's going to work. Either I think it will work, I think it's going to flap. Good luck. Please show me the data. So I can prove it to other people later, but like I'm always kind of just keyed in on that. So yeah, when we have a client who's like, well, I'm not listening to you, lady. I'm going to do it this way. I'm like, great. Let's keep an eye on how that goes. And I just kind of have a running list in my head. I don't have it organized or anything like that. And people do come to me a lot with different things they've seen. Like I'll get random Voxer messages from pretty recognizable names in the space. And they'll say, hey, I was just a speaker at so-and-so. Or a lot of times they don't say the name. I was a speaker at a summit. It was done this way. It was terrible, usually is what they say. Your way is so much better. So I'm like, oh, of course I love hearing that. But I also let it go the other way as well. And I just watch. And I don't see someone do something once, see that it works well, and like change everything. It's like, okay, I need proof that this wasn't a one-time thing. Like we had someone that I love collaborating with who launched her membership through her summit in a very different way that we recommend. And it went very well for her. But I am very doubtful that the same would be true for other people. So I'm just going to have my eye out for someone who I think would be a good fit for that and present them both options, present them with the risks and benefits and be like, what do you want to do? And if they want to try this other route, I'll be behind that and I'll help them through it and we'll see how it goes in the end. I try not to use our clients as like guinea pigs ever. I always present them with, here's how we do it. I saw someone else do it this way. Here's pros and cons. What do you think? And, kind of let them be the judge of that. But yeah, I think because I'm so set in our ways, I'm so familiar with how we do things, when everyone does something different and just naturally like flips a trigger, like that's not right. Sometimes I'm kind of like an old granny about things, but then I watch it. So yeah, just notice the trends and see what the data says.
Love that. Well, that was all the questions that I had for you. So
that was fun. Some homeschooling, some momming. Got to talk about crochet on a Summit podcast. I feel like that's a win. Thanks y'all for being here and for the questions. I hope it was a fun episode. It was fun for me to just get to chill and answer fun questions. So anyways, anyone have any last minute thoughts or questions before we wrap it up? That's what I thought. All right. Well, thank you so much everyone for tuning in. For show notes that you probably will not want to reference or any resources mentioned, I guess we did mention the one watercolor course. You can head to the link in the episode description wherever you're listening. If you have any other just like fun, kind of nosy, random questions, please feel free to hop over to Instagram and ask. I think that'd be super fun. But for now, go out and take action to plan, strategize, and launch your high converting virtual summit.